Oh, wait, no longer greatness has arrived. Welcome to the first episode of the new year of the Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast made by the players for the players. I'm your host, Joseph, aka Mr. Badbit, and it is here where me and my best friend Kyle talk about the latest, the greatest in all things PlayStation. Of course, this week, we're brushing off the dust. We're going to be talking about the thrilling CES Sony presentation. Did you know that The Last of Us HBO show is in about 2 weeks? Konami is up to something, and so much more. So with all that said, with all that out of the way, the greatest co-host, whoever is, whoever will be, Mr. Kyle Stevenson. How are you, sir? I nailed it.
You always do. What are you talking about? New year? You think you're going to mess it up? Nah,
New year,
you're good.
New you. It's been 2 weeks since we had a formal show with the news and such. I'm caffeinated.
Yeah.
Mistakes are bound to happen. How are you?
Yeah. I'm okay.
Yeah.
I wish I starting the new year, raring to go. Yeah. Back is not great. And that's the only thing holding me back from being as
Chipper.
Enthusiastic as you are right now, but I'm happy to be here.
Well, I mean, when we left, I was about to die with the stomach bug. That passed. I lived.
Good, absolutely.
Then,
you should get a T-shirt that says "I lived, bitch."
I really should have.
And when people ask you, you gotta say, "Oh man, stomach bug, worst thing ever."
Stomach bug of 2022. Let me tell you. And then for Merry Christmas, I got this cool little tumbler. Which is you press the button, and that's how you get a sippy sip out of it. And then you press the button on the top. Bam. You don't have to have a sippy sip. It keeps your coffee nice and warm.
My family thinks I drink coffee, and they got me a PlayStation mug.
That's a good mug.
It's a good mug.
Yeah.
I have to find something to drink out of it to make me look all efficient.
Hot cocoa?
Yeah, but can't have hot cocoa all year round. It's gotta be super cold.
So wait, I remember you telling me you're kind of a psycho in this way. You don't drink coffee.
Absolutely not.
Crazy person. No. How do you function? Are you just tired all the time?
Now do, baby!
You just ride the dew.
Yeah, no. I rely way too much on soda for my caffeine fix. It's bad.
No, I actually, real talk, I don't like soda anymore. I'm not a huge fan. Love coffee.
Good.
And I've grown accustomed to seltzer. Seltzer's the jam.
Okay.
Yeah, I dig it. But Kyle, listen, enough about all that because we got so much to talk about.
You're saying this isn't the seltzer room? We're not talking about seltzer?
No. Put your bubblies down, y'all. No. This is actually a PlayStation show. Have you heard this? Have you seen this? Yeah.
Oh, I thought they were dead.
That's what the whole internet's trying to convince me. Well, first and foremost, a little bit of housekeeping. This is the last week you could vote in the Trophy Room Awards 2022. We've officially passed last year's voting record. Over 2,400 of y'all have voted so far. So make sure you vote for what your game of the year is. Could be Elden Ring, could be God of War, could be Cult of the Lamb, could be anything. Get your vote out there. Your voice heard. You could vote multiple times. It really does mean a lot. Go click that link. It's been a lot of work. And next week's the show, the award show. I'm really excited about that. That's a ton of work. So again, it's a big labor of love. Click that link, support the show. That said, we do have to start the show to start this year off. I didn't want to just have how do you do? How's everything? How's it hanging? I wanted to get a question from the audience to start us off, to brush off the dust that is 2022, to begin anew in 2023. Strubles and Bits writes in to open the show. Hey, Joe and Kyle, Happy New Year. What are your gaming New Year's resolutions? Mine is to set aside FOMO and just enjoy new releases at my own pace without rushing. Love you guys very much. Can't wait to see what's in store in 2023. So Kyle, I turn to you. What is your gaming resolution? Everybody has a resolution. I'm going to lose weight. No.
Yeah.
None of that. Those aren't
I didn't
serious.
make any this year.
Same.
Yeah.
Because they're dumb. But
exactly.
I go to you. Gaming resolution, something you want to improve upon. I got 2 right off the bat.
Yeah. It's a simple one. It's a basic one, but I am so mad at myself for last year. I felt like I dropped the ball when it came to just the games that I played. Not that I didn't enjoy the games that I played. I did. I just didn't play enough.
Oh,
okay. And whether that is, coming off of us being quarantined for a year and a half, 2 years, and I wasn't working, so I had all the time in the world. Like, I think of 2020 when I got to play everything.
True.
Like, everything.
Escape the world.
I know. I want to get back to playing way more and actually enjoying my hobby instead of like just coming on here and talking about it, which I love doing, but like I miss playing as much as I did. So this year I want to play a whole lot more than I did last year.
So to me, I actually, I was talking to our good friend of me of the show, Luke Lore. My resolution was to be nicer to him and meaner to Sean Capri. It's working because I'm living in Sean's head rent free. But Luke was just like, I think I want to find the fun in 2023. I think a lot of us, podcasters, a lot of us, we try to overanalyze something. And he's like, I think I would have liked God of War Ragnarok more if I stopped trying to look at it as like through a critical lens of like, okay, where's the flaw? And just like, I'm just playing the game.
Yeah.
And so
welcome to the world of Kyle.
Where like Luke said this, and I think it's apt. He's like, when I load a game that's rated a 7, I'm looking for fun. Where it seems like when I hear a game's a 9 or a 10 or even 8 or whatever, I find that I'm looking for flaws.
Fair.
And I think that's a lot of us. I think a lot of us try to find the counterpoint to all the noise out there to sound unique, to be different, to offer something unique to the plate. And I want to stop doing that because I've been finding myself doing that more and more with games where I just kind of want to just get lost in the sauce. Right?
Yeah.
Oh,
this makes me happy because you were bumming me out for a while.
Why? What do you mean?
Because I think sometimes you harp too much on the negative.
I mean, yeah.
And you take the one thing, and that is like the only thing you can see out of the full package.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not saying it happened a whole lot, but like when it did,
you're like,
it just bummed me out. It felt like I was talking to a wall. Yeah, like, Joe, it's a video game. It's magic. Let's just enjoy it.
Yeah, like with some of the complaints with like God of War Ragnarok, I've been talking to some people who didn't, like it as much or didn't like it at all. And I'm like, I think you're kind of nitpicking to nitpick. Yeah. It's like Ains, you rated Halo Infinite a 9. Like, let's relax. You know what I'm saying? So like for me, it's just like, I love, for example, God of War Ragnarok. Were there some pacing issues? Absolutely. But like the game's still, we're going to talk about it a lot next week. Phenomenal. It's going to be one of my favorite sequels of all time. But I feel like oftentimes we're like, let's find something that is critically beloved so I can knock it down.
Nothing can be that good. Nothing can be that good. Yeah. Something's off about this instead of just enjoying how good the thing is.
Yeah. Like, for example, I think that happened as well with me with Elden Ring, where if you scroll back to February, March, I'm like, I don't get the appeal. I want that golden path. And then I played it the second time around and I'm like, oh, this is spoiler alert. This is one of the greatest games ever made. I completely came around, came away going, actually, you know what? Those critiques were just little nitpicks, and the whole grand package is something so much more. And so for me, that's what I want to do. I want to, and I'm starting this hashtag, not Luke, hashtag find the fun. That's what we're going to look for today. All right. For this whole year, we're going to find the fun. And when it comes to the FOMO, I also want to say, I don't need to play or watch anything or everything PlayStation related. For example, we're going to talk about it. Gran Turismo movie. I think I might skip it. Just because it's PlayStation doesn't mean I have to be a part of the conversation. Right.
Absolutely.
So I think that's what Strubles is kind of alluding to is just like, sometimes we could just sit it out. It's okay to sit one out. You don't have to be a part of the conversation every time. You could just casually observe or just walk away from it,
Yeah.
All right, Kyle. Now, before we get into the big news of the week, there is just a small bit of flash news that I also want to start the show off with, which is the Last of Us Faction solo game got a new piece of content art to kind of celebrate Last of Us as we're getting hyped for the Last of Us show. Have you seen this? Have you heard about this coming out in a few weeks?
Oh, yeah.
So a new piece of concept art. They say more news to come later on in the year. So I want to know, you saw the artwork. It's two people walking through a avenue and a huge cruise ship has just crashed on this
Yeah.
city street. It's just a ruin.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, what were your thoughts on this? What do you now think that this game is? Seeing the just small pieces of concept art, what are you piecing together here?
First of all, I am so psyched. Give it to me now.
Yeah.
Just even on the 2 key arts that we've seen, like it is.
Does it take a lot to please us?
Please.
Yeah.
No, absolutely not. I feel like it is. I think they're leaning really hard into my favorite part of Factions 1.
Yeah.
Which is like getting supplies for your settlement.
Mm.
So I think the key art shows like, small groups, 2 or 3, and like you are venturing out into the city to gather supplies. And I think while doing that, you're going to run into other players doing the same thing. And from what I understand, that's very much like Tarkov, I think, in my basic understanding. So I feel like that is kind of what it is. And like the story and characters we'll get is back at base.
Mm-hmm.
And like story bits similar to like The Division.
Okay.
Where you have a mission and then you get missions to go out and learn about what's happening in the area and whatnot.
So do you think like there would also be a more like arena based mode, like a standard, Last of Us
like team
deathmatch from like Factions 1 type of thing? Or do you think this is all we're getting, this big map we're dropping into?
I can imagine.
Okay.
That could still be a thing. Like that key art today with the giant cruise ship, that can totally just be a team deathmatch map on its own. True. If it's that big.
True. Like
they have the capability to do that, but I kind of sort of want them to just do the Tarkov Division-esque game that I think it is.
So I was thinking about this first. This concept art excites me because I've been playing a lot of DMZ. In Call of Duty, which
sweet.
is similar concept. Like you're going out there, you're filling out contracts to get better gear, of which you can equip next game, and the more stuff you unlock, the better stuff you unlock, and all that type of stuff. So for me, I was playing it. I'm like, man, I love this mode. Generally enjoying myself. But I cannot wait for the Last of Us version of this because I feel like this is the perfect marriage of like, what type of game do you need to scavenge for stuff? It's like Last of Us. That's the bread and butter. Now, for me, I think we're going to get a big Division-esque, Tarkov-esque mode, but I would also love to see it become more of a bigger suite of like, you also get the thing that you loved from Factions 1, like, the team deathmatch modes that you had here. I would love to see that there as well, but I think you're right. I think we're going to get that Tarkov mode. And I think what you said is also very interesting here, Kyle. Going back to your camp. Mm-hmm. That actually gives me Red Dead Redemption 2 vibes because a lot of that story plays out in the camp. Right? You fulfill your contract, you have that mission with Lenny, and then you come back, and then Dutch is going to promise you the world again. So maybe you're in the role as Dutch, right? And maybe like the leader died, you have to pick up the reins, and you get to name your clan, you get to name whatever, kind of build out your own role play of what this little mini civilization is. Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be very, very cool. Last question. How many people are we going to take with us? Is this a solo thing? Are we having duo matches? Is this a squad of 4? What are your hopes here?
4, I think, is pretty standard.
Okay.
I would imagine 4.
Okay.
I think the new hotness, though, is 3.
Right?
I think that's kind of like the new, unique, cool thing to do now in these kind of multiplayer games is squads of 3. So maybe that. Okay.
I'm thinking DMZ has squads of 3, so 3 wouldn't be a crazy idea. But also a thing of like The Last of Us, when I think of I'm going to pull a Bill Clinton here. When I think of us, I'm thinking you and me. Right? Mm-hmm. So for me, I think of what is The Last of Us. It's a trip of 1 or 2 going out there.
Yeah.
So I think this is a team of 2 constantly going out there and scavenging.
Yeah.
But these are just 2 pictures we've seen.
And that's the thing. It's just 2 key arts. who knows when we're actually going to see it in motion and the game that we're actually going to be playing.
Yeah.
It's been in development for what, a few years now?
For a hot minute now. Do you?
Because it was going to be part of part 2,
But then
and then it got too big.
We're getting crazy.
And they made their own
it.
thing.
Yeah. So do you think that this is going to be announced this year and then will be like out this year type of thing?
Out this year, I don't know.
Okay.
I would love it to, but the fact that we've only seen 2 key arts from it, and we don't have even like a window or an actual name. We just keep calling it Factions 2. There's no way that's going to be the name of the title. Yeah. I could see it. I could see it being shown off at Summer Game Fest.
I think when Neil's like, you may hear more of it next year. I think, Summer Game Fest Factions 2 is going to be there for sure.
Yeah.
Showcase, please. That said,
please.
That's
for you, Captain Logan. I saw your tweets.
Yeah, well, I saw it. I see you.
We're thirsty for a showcase. Give it to us.
Please, for the love of God. All right, Kyle.
I'm going to drink right now.
Before we square up the CES PSVR2 news, before we square up the news, it's time for some housekeeping. Of course, this show, it's all possible because of your generosity over at patreon.com/PS Trophy Room. In fact, it's the reason why we look so good, we sound so great, is because of your generosity. So if we ever got you through a long car ride, a tough day at work, whatever it is your situation may be, it really does help us out. $1 a day keeps the debtors at bay. It's the reason why we look so good. It's the reason why we're able to do things like, edit this show. Strictly because of your generosity. And the reason why the Trophy Room Awards is what it is because of our patrons over at patreon.com/PS Trophy Room. And if you're a gold member this month, guess what? You get to write us, type us out what your game of the year is. Please make it like a tweet, a little bit longer, 400 characters tops of what your game of the year is. And we'll read it on the Trophy Room Awards next week.
Yeah, and on that note, I just wanted to say that I have the posters in hand.
Nice.
For those that have pledged back when we did our drive for the funding for the award show. Yeah. We're doing a little something special. We're going to keep it a secret with it, but I'm sending them off to Joe very soon, and then they'll be on their way to those people.
I'm going to touch it with my hands.
Yeah, he is. It's going to be good.
I'm not going to shower that day.
Ew.
They're gonna be gross.
Side of bathwater, every poster.
That's right. I want to thank our newest members, Mark Schultz at the Bronze tier, Stingray X at the Bronze Plus tier. I want to thank Brenty Blob at the Silver tier and MKyle_H85 at the Silver tier. I want to thank our Platinum producers, Todd Burowitz and Toxic. I want to thank our Gold members, Jonas Young and Johnson, Too Soon, Gavin Gottfried, Jose Jimenez, Jedi Master Red Metal, Kirby, Stephen Flesh, Doth, Simon the Pie Man, Enigma, Millennial Falcon Gaming, Cowboy Danger D, Strubles and Bits, and the Green Gorilla Gamer. I want to thank our Silver Plus members, Robbie Bobby Miller himself, Cypher Primus, Awesome Dave, Hide Indoors, Marcus O'Neill, JB the Purple Monkey, Janice Von Whoa, hold the phone. Happy birthday, JB. I love you, brother.
Happy birthday, JB. Hey, new music out now. Go check his Twitter.
Bam. Jadis Von Metal, Tim Ulf, Justin Rodriguez, Cypher Primus, Captain Logan, Brenton Zachary, K. Grimm, Rick Arrington, Dewane Raksha, The Good Sir, Foolish Fuji, Kevin Mitchell, Kevin Diaz, Elo 2032, Bubble Boy N7, Jesse Garcia, Hambone, The Aztec King, E.T. Photo. Stone Cold, E.T. Astronaut Jr., not to be mistaken with Astronaut Senior, Maximum Carnage, Katie Stubbs, M9 Prime, Sean McKenzie, Final Fan, XZ, Androsor, Lamb Chop 93, and Justin Rodriguez. Thank you all so much for your kindness, your generosity, and because it's a new year and I made this list on the fly, if I miss your name, let me know, and I will put it up there next week. On the house.
Yeah. Less bit of housekeeping.
Oh, yeah, even more
because it just happened.
Okay.
We are doing the community fantasy critic league for the trophy room. Right. We'll be doing the draft this upcoming Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern.
Ooh.
So check for the link in our Discord. There's a Fantasy Critic League channel in our Discord. Links below for all that jazz and whatnot. So if you want to join, you have a few days.
Okay.
and then we'll be drafting.
Now here's a real question: do we want to make it for just patrons or anyone? Because I remember
everybody.
Because I remember last year there's some people that showed up once and then they never contributed.
Yeah, well, Marcus has some good ideas to make it so people are more invested all year round.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm not worried.
Right, fair enough.
Not worried.
Go ahead, go do that. All those things Kyle just said.
Yeah.
Kyle, it is now finally time to square up Sony PlayStation segment at the Sony CES event.
Hold on, let me wake up so I can talk about it.
Honestly, we almost fell asleep. I am extremely caffeinated, and I almost fell asleep.
And we say that jokingly because it's not the show that we want from PlayStation and Sony.
Yeah. Well,
like that is very much boardroom. Talk about the really fun, exciting things.
This is for your shareholders for tomorrow, and like the journalists out there to break down for the layman. It was very much a hey, look at we're Sony. This is all the stuff we do.
Exactly.
We partnered with Honda to make a car. Yeah. Neil Blomkamp made a Gran Turismo logo. Like it's a whole bunch of stuff in there.
Just a logo.
Just a logo. Because let's be honest, that movie, oh boy. Uh-oh. All right. We saw 5 seconds. Why am I being such a harsh judge?
I don't know.
So Kyle, first things first, all the PlayStation news you need to know about at CES 2023. So we saw the Gran Turismo movie logo has been revealed. Kyle, your first thoughts on this, because I thought they were pretty poignant. That's a 5.
What, the logo?
Yeah.
It looks cool. It reminds me of like the PS2 logo a little bit.
Yeah, I liked it. Made me feel nice.
Yeah, it's very, very nice.
We saw David Harbour throw out just SEO words.
It looked like he was looking at the back of the box of the game and describing the game.
Yeah. Orlando Bloom's in it. The kid's really excited, who's the pilot.
Yeah, they probably caught David after a full day of shooting. So this is not a slight against David Harbour whatsoever.
And, he's doing his job. He's like,
absolutely.
He's like, you're giving me $10,000. I just say Sony PlayStation. Okay.
Yeah. I'll do that right now. It's Sony. I'll do it right now. Sony PlayStation.
Honestly, can I get real with you for a second?
Yeah.
You know what? I know this movie's not gonna be this, but it would be really awesome to see it be like Top Gun Maverick. Where like they showed a little bit, it's like we're in the cockpit, but how much is that real? Like the thing about Maverick that I loved is like Tom Cruise is in that plane. Like there is not a lot of CGI going on. So that's what I'm hoping. If this has a similar vibe, I don't know what were your thoughts on the movie itself? Like did this win you over at all? Again, we only saw like 10 seconds, but
we only saw 10 seconds, but I still don't know how this is going to work. Mm-hmm. I know they're framing it around a kid is very good at the video game and became a real driver because he's good at the video game, and now he gets to drive for real and races and whatnot. But like they framed it as it's also a romance story and an action and high drama. It just feels like they're throwing everything into it.
Yep.
I feel like it may be too much.
Absolutely.
And it's not the kind of a movie that I would want out of Gran Turismo. And I realize this isn't Gran Turismo, but I would love for it to be like the wilderness races, right?
Okay.
Like the circuits or whatever of like all these very cool outdoor races and learning about rivals and whatnot. And it could be in there, but similar to like, Top Gun Maverick, where you have your rival pilot that your antagonist and you just go against each other on the track. And I don't know if we're going to get too deep into that. And I'm afraid it's going to be way more.
There was like a really
outside
cool
the car.
Yeah. There was like a really cool shot of what it seemed like it had the same perspective of like the game. I'm like, that's really cool. Mm-hmm. That's neat. Like, that's what I'm hoping for as well. Like, it's more about the car races and not so much about the B plot romance story that I don't care about. Mm-hmm. But yeah, and Orlando Bloom's in it, so I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I haven't seen anything with him in years.
Yeah, it's been a while.
He's coasting on that Pirates money.
Yeah, I would too.
All right, so from the Gran Turismo logo movie thing that we saw, we now get some PSVR 2 news. You ready?
Oh well, we did see Sweet Tooth up there very
Oh,
briefly.
right. Yeah.
They talked about The Last of Us show, HBO, 2 weeks. In case you didn't know,
What's The Last of Us?
yeah, it's
Never
wild.
heard
It's
of it.
one of the greatest things ever.
Mm.
But then they showed images of. They talked about the God of War show, and then the Twisted Metal show, and I thought it was just really cool to see Sweet Tooth again. It's been a minute since we've seen Sweet Tooth on a PlayStation stage. I was like, oh, that's cool. That brings back great memories of playing that game on PS1 with my friends.
I hope that show's good, but just it being on.
I have similar thoughts on how that's going to work, like Gran Turismo.
Okay.
I'm just afraid that it's not gonna be the Twisted Metal Black show that I want,
right.
And it's gonna be something completely different.
It makes me afraid that it's on Peacock. That's it.
Fair.
Fair. Peacock. I don't know what is. I don't think of when I think of Peacock. I think of like Parks and Rec, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and The Office are there, and that's why
I think WWE. That's where they are now.
Oh, okay, good for them.
Yeah.
All right, now it's time for the PSVR2 news. Okay?
Yeah.
Kyle, the first bit of news we hear about PSVR2 is that Gran Turismo 7 is coming to PlayStation VR2 at launch and for free for anybody who owns the game.
Awesome.
This is pretty rad. This is also coming on the heels of the creative director of the game saying, we're not planning on a PC release. Now I can understand why, because they've been hard at work at a PSVR 2 version of this game.
Yeah.
Pretty wild.
That's cool. It is. I'm always looking for ways to show VR to my parents.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad used to race like drag racers. And so like to put him up behind the wheel of a race car, I think he's going to absolutely love it.
Yeah.
And I never did that with the VR one with Drive Club and everything, just because he just really was not into it. And it was still working all the time. So like you didn't have the time.
That's so like what I was thinking, because they talk so much about car culture, so much in that. I hope it's kind of like what Forza, I believe, does, where it's like, this is the interior of this car. When you hop inside of it, like, it's like I'm sitting in a, I don't know, a Mercedes Benz or whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, like I'm sitting in my Volkswagen Jetta 2002.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
That said, 30 games at the launch window for PlayStation VR 2. Mm-hmm. So they're coming out with some heat for it.
Yeah. And they highlighted No Man's Sky, Resident Evil Village in VR, and of course Horizon Call of the Mountain.
Call of the Mountain.
Yeah.
And the one I got excited for, no, not Half-Life Alyx, but Beat Saber is coming to PSVR 2.
I kind of felt it would.
Yeah.
But the fact we didn't hear anything yet made me worried. So just confirming that it's coming is fantastic, because that's a huge reason why I want VR again.
Yeah. And now probably sell my Oculus because I don't need it anymore. But I mean, after the news of like Facebook being sued by the EU for like $500 million, I feel like they need all the money that they can get. I think their VR division needs all the money that they can get. So they're like, yeah, no, we'll port it wherever, because we definitely need this market to grow. I saw a lot of people talk about like a day before where it's like, now this is PlayStation's turn to make something more out of out of VR. So let's hope PSVR 2 is it. So I love to see that the industry is seemingly coming together when it comes to VR to make it hopefully be a thing that hits the mainstream.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's all the PSVR 2 stuff. Nothing too huge or revolutionary, but I think this is actually something that hits an emotional chord with me, as it does you and so many people in this community. A new PlayStation 5 controller. They're calling it Project Leonardo. What is this controller? Finally, PlayStation has its very own accessible controller, and it does all the things that the Xbox accessible controller does as well. You could take it apart. It's modular. You could use a DualSense alongside of it. This is something that is made to make games more accessible for everyone. And as someone who cares for a disabled individual who wants to do more in terms of just being able to, entertain themselves, this is huge, and I'm digging all of this.
long time coming.
Yeah.
This was needed, I feel like, way long ago. And I just did a quick Google because I wasn't sure when the Xbox Adaptive Controller came out. It came out in 2018.
Yeah.
And the fact that we are now in 2023 and finally
You get an announcement?
getting an adaptive controller from PlayStation, I'm just happy that we're at this point so more people can play games. Yeah. And the good work of like Steven Spahn of Able Gamers is the fruit of all of their hard work over there is finally coming to light, and more people will get to play games, which is what we want. It's what I want.
Yeah. This means a whole lot to me. So
Yeah.
I love it. And it's also something that proves that accessibility does matter. Companies are listening to it and people are using it because companies are investing millions of dollars into these things to make them work. And I also think it speaks to as we age, you know, gaming is still a young medium, and the community as it ages and matures and whatever have you, you know, these things, accessibility matters so much, whether it's the simple, hey, could you make the font larger, to something where it's like, hey, I have a, you know, physical disability where I can't play games anymore. This matters to so many people. So I love this. This is awesome. All right, the next bit of news here, Kyle. This is nuts. And I hope I read it right or heard it right. PlayStation 5 has already sold through 30 million units worldwide in
that is correct.
Consumers' hands.
Yep.
Thoughts, feelings, emotions, because
that's a big number.
Where's my check? You know, that's all I'm thinking.
Yeah, we helped, right?
I think.
Yeah, I mean, I have 2 of those 30 million in my household. Yeah. So I definitely helped. I think it's pretty fantastic that it's that number. It's sold so that many in the most unprecedented times we've ever seen, and 2 years in, that's pretty big numbers.
Yeah,
that's pretty impressive.
It's pretty darn impressive. And you're right. I think the past few years have been crazy, especially when it comes to manufacturing. And they even mentioned, it's like, look at what we'll be able to do, even with just all the shortages, all the economic uncertainty, raising the price of these things on consumers. Has not hurt them in the slightest, it seems. 30 million is nothing to scoff at. And then they end with, in 2023, you're getting your PSVR 2, but they highlight with Final Fantasy 16 and Hogwarts Legacy and Spider-Man 2 are seemingly PlayStation's headlining games for this year.
And this year.
Yeah.
Again, reiterating Spider-Man 2 later this year.
Yeah.
Again, we've only seen that first trailer.
It's
wild.
So, Kyle, this wasn't the showcase that we wanted. But there has to be something coming for PlayStation VR 2. This can't be just it. Do you not think that maybe there's a state of play in the coming weeks?
I don't know anymore.
Fair enough.
I really don't, Joe. Again, it just makes sense to have one in my head. I think in a lot of people's heads it makes sense. I don't think they care. I think they'll do one whenever they want at this point.
I mean, the 30 million units shows that, hey, this thing isn't slowing down. And when you have something like the juggernaut that has been God of War Ragnarok, selling over 5 million in like 3 days, and now you got Spider-Man as well. Mm-hmm. Like, you're right. You kind of sadly don't need one, but damn, do we need one?
Yeah. After Spider-Man 2, what's happening?
I don't know.
What is happening? And DS2. Yeah. Like, what's happening?
Yeah. You got Final Fantasy Rebirth.
Yeah, I'm excited. But even then, that's a couple months after Spider-Man 2. So it's not like in the future.
Yeah. That said, Kyle, that's the PlayStation CES event in its entirety. Rundown for y'all. That's all the PSVR 2 news we have for you. I think Project Leonardo, coolest thing we've seen there.
Absolutely.
But now it's finally time to square up the news that we've missed these past few weeks. Take it away, Kyle.
Ooh. From Andy Robinson over at VGC writes, Konami teases reveals for games it says are quietly underway. Konami has said it's planning to reveal even more new games, building on its recently disclosed plans to revive classic franchises. As part of its New Year greeting published on Famitsu, the company mentioned, quote, new games for well-known series, end quote, likely referencing the roster of Silent Hill games and the Castlevania collaboration announced last year. However, it said it also had new announcements to make regarding projects, quote, deeply and quietly underway behind the scenes. Quote, this year is the year of the rabbit, and we are planning new games for well-known series with the aim of making even greater strides. In addition, new projects that we have yet to announce to you are also deeply and quietly underway. Please look forward to Konami's future announcements, end quote. VGC first reported in 2021 that Konami was looking to revive many of its major franchises, including Silent Hill, which was eventually announced last year, Castlevania, and Metal Gear. Sources claimed that one title in development at Singapore-based support studio Virtuous was a new version of Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. A recruitment video posted by the company later appeared to hint at the project.
Ooh-wee. Konami's coming back, Kyle. Konami is coming back. What are your thoughts on that, first and foremost? You know, Konami has been out of, seemingly, out of it for, the past 6 years, as it's gotten out of it with the PlayStation 4 generation, now seemingly coming back in with the PlayStation, or 5 years, now coming back in with the PlayStation 5 gen. I want to know what you think, because I'm not a huge Konami guy. So, like, Castlevania, Silent Hill, even Metal Gear doesn't move the needle for me. So for you, does it at all, or?
I mean, I'm excited because these franchises and these IP are major when it just comes to video games. So it's very cool. It's also, I'm trepidatious because it is Konami. And they've yet to prove that they have changed yet.
Okay.
I'm intrigued. I love the fact that we're getting that Castlevania Dead Cells collaboration. I think that's fantastic. God, that looks
great. I'm even more excited that's in our Fantasy Critic League against the Xbox Drive. They cheated last year, and we still haven't conceded because the reviews have not been counted yet. But like, we got Castlevania, Dead Cells Castlevania, and it looks amazing. It looks like something like, how could you even ignore it? How could you forget this game exists? You know?
Exactly. I know. It's weird. Huge overthought huge blunder. Anyways, Silent Hill is also huge, and it's coming back in multiple projects. The last one that they even mentioned in this article is Metal Gear, and exactly how many new Metal Gear things are we going to get? Are they going to go all out like Silent Hill and have a bunch of little things? Is that what Blue Point's working on? Who knows?
The thing with Konami for me is it's kind of like I trust them as far as I could throw them, and since they're not tangible, I can't, so I won't. For me, I just hearing the horror stories, almost half a decade ago at this point. Jeez, it's been that long, but like, of them, like, if you did bad, they'll turn you into a janitor, like they're like, you're like, get off the desk, you're going to be cleaning the floors now. The horror stories coming from Kojima and his departure from that studio. It's just like, I hope the same people aren't back. I hope that we see more projects that are tied to people like PlayStation, people outside of Konami, like Bloober. Like, to me, I would feel comfortable with all these things if Konami has as little to do with the project as possible. Like, seeing that Bloober has Silent Hills would give me and gives me way more confidence if this was some, external or internal studio that Konami was hiring. So to me, that's where my hope is that it seems like they're more so licensing out the IP to people that are interested rather than trying to tackle it themselves. But I saw you were searching for something back there. Do you have anything else you want?
I was just like, let's not forget that this is Konami who gave us the worst press conference at E3 of all time.
True. And Metal Gear Solid. Yeah.
Yes. Let's not forget it's the same company that did that. So
I gotta hold my breath here.
It's just like I'm excited that we're getting these IP back. is where my excitement comes from.
Do you think one of the IP that is missing here, the Metal Gear one, we see that there is a Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater in the works, seemingly by a Singapore studio. But do you think that there is a Metal Gear remake coming from Bluepoint? It seems like Konami's holding the hands of PlayStation quite a lot. So do you think that might be the case?
Are. I think so.
Yeah?
I think so. And I don't know if I'm thrilled that is Bluepoint's next game. I'm not so secretly hoping for Legend of Dragoon.
Bloodborne. Oh, sorry.
Never heard of it.
What?
Yeah, no.
Used to be the game of the generation.
It's been how long though? Like it doesn't.
I mean,
my brain can't handle that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Bluepoint are excellent, so I would like to see them do a different style of game, and Metal Gear Solid is definitely a different style of what we've gotten from them.
I mean, and they've touched them up in the past as well. They gave us one of the collections, so I think they're a capable studio of doing it. And it actually excites me. Like if they go, hey, let's do, like Guns of the Patriots, or like let's do Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty. Like that would excite me because I never got to experience those games because I didn't own or I wasn't allowed to play those games when I was a kid. So being able to go back to Sons of Liberty and have modern controls and knowing how, man, true to the source material, even to a fault, Bluepoint is taking a look at the Demon Souls remake. They're going to be like, disconnect your controller to, defeat that one boss. Like they're going to embrace the weirdness that is Kojima with the next project. So I hope it's actually their next project, if I'm honest. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, Kyle, enough about Konami. I now want to get back to talking about The Last of Us.
Yay! Logan Planet IGN writes, Neil Druckmann on Last of Us Part 3 possibility. Quote, I think there's more story to tell, unquote. While The Last of Us fans are currently setting their sights on the upcoming HBO show and multiplayer title, Naughty Dog's Neil Druckmann isn't ruling out the possibility for The Last of Us Part 3. Speaking to The Hollywood Reporter ahead of The Last of Us show's premiere later this month, Druckmann couldn't reveal if Part 3 is in the works at Naughty Dog, but said, quote, I think there's more story to tell, unquote. This is the first we've heard of a potential follow-up to 2020's The Last of Us Part 2 since April 2021, when Druckmann said he and Part 2 co-writer Hallie Gross have written an outline for a story that, quote, we're not making, but I hope one day can see the light of day, that explores a little bit of what happens after this game. We'll see, end quote. And in addition to that, in a story from Zermina Khan over at PS Lifestyle, Druckmann told The New Yorker that Naughty Dog's next game will be, quote, structured more like a TV show, end quote. Unlike the studio's previous games, whereby there will be... Whereby? Which one is it, Joe?
Hitherto and Dreamt of?
There you go. There will be a team of writers working on the project. Unfortunately, his comments were misconstrued due to a misleading tweet by Jeff Keighley via the Game Awards Twitter account, prompting him to deliver a clarification. He also said that he is, quote-unquote, stoked to show the multiple projects, indicating that he's referring to multiple games.
Ooh-wee. Okay, so first, before we get into the community question here, I want to lead in with this question for you. I'm getting scared with the direction of PlayStation, getting a little concerned. We're seeing a lot of sequels to things. We're not seeing a lot of the original IP. Someone, I forget who, called me out on Twitter where I say, I like PlayStation because they allow their developers to do something different. And, I was called out by saying, well, look at Horizon. Like Horizon has had 5 projects in the they have 5 projects in the works in the span of like 5 years. I don't want to see Guerrilla be the Horizon factory, right? I don't want to see Naughty Dog be the Last of Us factory. These companies are great, and I don't want PlayStation, and this is going to sound fanboyish, and I apologize, but I don't want PlayStation to be Last of Us, Horizon, God of War, akin to Xbox's Gears, Forza, Halo. I don't want that stigma. So to me, when I hear there's a part 3 on the horizon first, I'm a little apprehensive. That doesn't excite me. I want to see what crazy thing Neil has in his head besides just Last of Us Part 3. Take a break, let it breathe for a minute, and give us something new. I don't know. What do you hear about this when Neil teases Last of Us Part 3. Do you think that that is the next big project out of, Naughty Dog Bane?
Nope.
Oh.
I don't think it's next.
Oh.
I do think it'll come eventually.
Okay.
I don't think they're next. I think that worry from some and you as well is warranted, how we're just going to get sequel after sequel after sequel. I completely understand that. But they also are giving us stuff in between.
Mm.
Right? Like Sucker Punch was infamous for years.
Right.
Then they gave us Ghost.
Right.
We have confirmation that Cory Barlog's next game at Sony Santa Monica has nothing to do with God of War.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They're talking here, Naughty Dog have multiple projects.
Right.
And how the next game is going to be, the next game is structured like a TV show. That's not going to be Last of Us Part 3. So like I feel like there's going to be enough breathing room in between sequels. Mm-hmm. The Horizon one, I'll give you that. There seems to be a lot of Horizon coming at some point in the future. But I feel like every other studio is doing stuff in between to give those IP a little bit of breathing room.
Yeah.
Even if it's like quote unquote almost a slam dunk that after the not IP game they're going to go back to it kind of thing.
That's what I'm glad you said it, because that's what I was thinking. I was playing a little devil's advocate. Because like, to me, this is also the same company that said, oh, you want to end the extremely successful franchise that is God of War after 2 games, not 3. Oh, that's all the story you have to tell. Okay. That's all the story you were getting from Kratos. Two more games. Yep. All right. And you're right. There's, I don't.
Oh yeah, Guerrilla, you want to stop making the only exclusive first-person shooter that we have on the platform
and make an RPG you've never known how to make?
Yeah, go ahead, do it. So like, they're not afraid to do that. And again, this is a lot of us who aren't in the dev rooms and studios acting like they don't want to do an entry in the in the IP that they know, right?
Yeah. It also goes to show one thing that I think Jason Schreier talked about a bit, which is dev cycles. Dev cycles are getting ridiculously long, too long. The meme that's been throwing around is like, I want games to be shorter with less prettier graphics and their workers to be paid more. No, I'm not kidding. Seems to be a common thread that I've seen a lot of developers start using, which is like, yeah, we're seeing a lot more sequels to games because they already have those assets. They already have combat lined out. And so all the things that you, not to say all you need to do, but theoretically the biggest hurdles are going to be story, level design, that type of stuff laid out in front of you.
Improvements.
Exactly.
Or like how to make it better. Kind of.
So for me, I kind of understand why these teams are going, hey, here's our main thing and here's something we're working on the side, because those main things have to be money makers for this team or for those teams. So yeah, I think you're right. PlayStation still allows their teams to be weird and to do different things. And I think Sucker Punch is probably, to me, the best example of it as well. It's like, hey, you made a superhero game. X-Men without saying it's X-Men. Now here is a authentic or as authentic as it can be samurai game from a Western studio. Go ahead, have at it, have fun.
Yeah.
And they nailed it.
And
you
and we're also getting PlayStation Studios reaching out and doing partnerships with Haven Studios and Firewalk and Fire Sprite and all these other devs and Ember Labs, right? Like, they are getting exclusive games from other studios to fill in those gaps, to give new experiences here. And we also like forget about Concrete Genie. That's also a great PlayStation exclusive that is different from everything else. So I'm not worried that it's just going to be sequel upon sequel upon sequel.
I think there's a lot of assumptions and hyperbole when we talk about this.
Yeah, absolutely.
And speaking of Spider CC,
a lot of people with blinders on.
Yeah, a lot of it.
They see what they kind of want to see.
Tunnel visioned. Spider C11, writes, I haven't gotten any more details on what they mean by TV style. I've always seen chapters in games as quote unquote episodes, but that could just be me. Now, if they mean, and he says, Neil, mean going into different chapters in the same universe, like Uncharted Lost Legacy, then sign me up.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
So, Spider, this is a really great question. And Neil kind of clarified what he means by we're treating it like a show. He's saying, hey, how we've been doing it is it's usually just me and another person, right? We're going to change this up, and we're going to add a narrative team on top of it. So when I saw a lot of people go, ugh, here we go. You know, they're going to go for cinematics over game. And I'm like, have you played The Last of Us Part 2? Like, leagues better gameplay wise than one. But not only that, it's like everybody complained that The Last of Us Part 2 needed an editor. Now you have a team of people that could kind of reel Neil in or explore those things in deep. And maybe we get someone that could also make a Last of Us caliber or Last of Us thing in this universe and maybe do it better than Neil. And what I mean by that is I feel like they're taking The Last of Us akin to like a Star Wars, where we're going to see directors of other Last of Us related IP. We're seeing it with Factions. We also saw it with Part 1 of different directors helming these projects and having kind of like the Lucas blessing of like, have at it, tell this story. To me, I actually feel like this reins in Neil a bit and actually gives him more ability to explore other IP as well. I don't know. What were your thoughts on that?
I mean, on that same note, bring up the example again. Look at God of War Ragnarok. That's not a Cory Barlog directed game. It's an Eric Williams directed game, and that story is on par with 2018, and in some ways even better than 2018. So, like, I think it's super important to have different voices and to tell different stories in games. Just to kind of keep it fresh. And if that's what they're doing here, if that's what Neil means by a TV style show, I'm so in for that. Just give me more complete character arcs and cool, unique set pieces that aren't like, hey, we did this cool thing in the first game. Let's do it again, but like switch up the assets. So I'm thinking like Uncharted, right? Instead of a train, it's now a Jeep. UPC truck Jeep chasing after you, or like, oh, we're just gonna fall out of a plane this time. And it's like, it's literally kind of the same kind of set piece, just different settings.
I agree with you there. So like for me, I kind of take it in terms of like, yeah, we could go out there and explore the Uncharted universe. We could go out there and explore the Last of Us universe, and we could go explore other universes. And we often forget that Neil is also co-president of this studio. He's got other responsibilities.
It's not just like a lead director or something. Exactly. No, he's co-president now.
So to me, he's co-assistant manager. He's got things to do.
He's got Neil Bucks.
He's got Neil Bucks. This is your birthday, all that stuff. So to me, I like where this direction's headed, and I think it shows that a lot of people, not speaking to you, Spider, but a lot of people read that headline and went, oh, they're making TV shows now. It's like, no, that is not what they're doing. Please, for the love of God, no.
Yeah. No, I don't think we're getting a Quantum Break Naughty Dog game.
No. Nor does anybody want that. That said, Kyle. Oh, you're like, maybe I do. You crazy son of a gun.
I don't know.
Let's talk about the next story on the list. This is something that happened near Christmas.
Oh, that's right. Merry Christmas. Vicky Blake over at Eurogamer writes, oh my God, why can't I? It's 2023 and I still can't speak.
Hey, it's been a year since we did this show. Me.
Oh man. Vicky Blake, Eurogamer, writes, Microsoft states Final Fantasy 16 and Silent Hill 2 Remake will not come to Xbox consoles. Microsoft has hit back at Sony's objection to its planned acquisition of Activision Blizzard by revealing that third-party games like Bloodborne, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Final Fantasy 16, and Silent Hill 2 Remake are party to exclusion agreements that will prevent those games from coming to Xbox consoles. This is just me interjecting. Has Bloodborne ever been in consideration for
That's a second-party game. I love these lawyers,
That's
man.
Wild.
They're just talking out of their ass. Like, what's a game they have? It's not really. It's okay.
Yeah.
You sure about that, Jim? Okay. Run with it.
Back to the article.
Sorry.
The news comes as that's my fault. The news comes as part of Microsoft's response to the FTC's lawsuit against its planned acquisition of Activision Blizzard. In the filing, Microsoft defends its position by turning the spotlight back onto Sony, detailing a handful of quote-unquote prominent games the company alleges have been barred from release on Xbox. Whilst the filing acknowledges that, quote, exclusivity strategies are not uncommon in the games industry, end quote, Microsoft seems to take issue with Sony's partnership with third-party publishers, namely From Software, Square Enix, and Konami. Quote, in addition to having outright exclusive content, Sony has also entered into agreements with third-party publishers which require the quote-unquote exclusion of Xbox from the set of platforms these publishers can distribute their games on, the paperwork states, thanks to Korea Xbox News on Twitter. Quote, some prominent examples of these agreements include Final Fantasy VII Remake, Bloodborne, the upcoming Final Fantasy 16, and the recently announced Silent Hill 2 Remastered, end quote. Whilst there's been quite a bit of back and forth between the two companies in recent months, this final sentence may come as a bit of surprise. Not least because in Silent Hill 2 Remake's case, for instance, while we knew there was a 12-month console exclusivity period for Sony, it was presumed the games would roll out on other consoles after the exclusivity period is up. Something Xbox intimates is now no longer the case.
Okay.
So they just snitched on themselves, right?
They done snitched on themselves, and
they just told their fans, "Hey, you're not getting Silent Hill 2 Remake."
Well, first off, here's what I take umbrage with. Here's my big issue with this whole article. Whilst.
I
don't think that's a real word. I think people use that to make themselves look like Shakespeare in the Park, and well, they are European, so maybe this is like the proper term, and I just don't know anything.
Also, like the more this is no shade to you at all, Vicky Blake.
Way smarter than either of us.
1000%. I've been reading a lot of articles lately that just have misspellings in it, and I'm like, just hire me to do the proofreading.
Oh wow, okay.
Because like in this last sentence, it says it's supposed to be back and forth, but it says back and forth. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Damn.
Little second set eyes are Eurogamer.
Are you telling Vicky Blake?
No, I'm telling Eurogamer. Okay. I'm not telling Vicky. I'm telling
the editor
whoever
in
edited
chief.
Vicky's.
Hire Kyle or get Grammarly. One of those things is free.
Oh no, me.
Okay, look at you, goddamn thesaurus.
I'm the free one.
All right, Kyle. So I don't want to talk about the ABK stuff because it's not interesting.
Yeah, no.
The interesting stuff is the details like this. First off, Bloodborne's a second party game. PlayStation owns the IP. They hired From Software to make this game. So that's not true. But do you think this lends credence to maybe Xbox is exaggerating here, that Final Fantasy 16, 7, and Silent Hill 2 will come to Xbox one day? Or do you actually think that this is kind of going to show, since Final Fantasy 7 is, its exclusive quote-unquote window ended a while ago, we still don't see it on other platforms besides PC, that, PlayStation, Final Fantasy 16 is a console exclusive from PlayStation for the foreseeable future. What do you think?
I'm not going to say never. They'll never come to Xbox because Persona just finally came to Xbox. And that was one where like, no, that's never going to happen.
They never saw it coming.
Hey. Joe's stealing your hearts right here in 2023. So I'm not going to say never because it does happen.
Right.
It's just that
it won't be for a minute.
It won't be for a minute. And honestly, this is smart from Sony. I'm going to take that side here. Like to lock these games up. These are massive games to only play on your own console. Like it makes sense.
And I think,
and in another way, like this is just me being a older gamer. These titles, I refer to PlayStation, right? Sure. When I read Silent Hill, I think PlayStation. Read Final Fantasy, I think PlayStation. Right. When I read Bloodborne, I only think PlayStation. Yeah. So, like, those kind of partnerships I'm okay with because of the history.
The lineage, the history.
Yeah.
And I think it also serves Xbox's argument of, like, we can take some exclusives because, gosh darn, they're doing it. So, fair game, So let us have a Starfield. Gosh dang it. And yeah, I think this goes to show that, yeah, Final Fantasy 16, Silent Hill 2 remake, not remastered, Xbox lawyers, so maybe make an amendment there. You know, these games are, for the foreseeable future, not coming to Xbox, and it's them kind of snitching on themselves for maybe for the better outcome, perhaps.
Yeah.
But, you know, for me, I like the inner workings. Those things being teased out are the things that interest me, of like, oh, so like Microsoft knows they're not going to get Final Fantasy 16. Like, they know they're not going to get Silent Hill, or they're not trying to get them because of this deal. Like, those are like the questions that I ask myself, you know?
It's a weird negotiation tactic, right?
Yeah.
To already give up the fact that you'll never, ever, ever get that on your platform.
Never.
It's wild. Interesting move, Cotton. Let's see if it plays out for him.
All right, Kyle, it is time for some flash news. Gotta run fast. 2023. New Year's resolution. My knees aren't been good. God. All right. Elden Ring. Have you heard of this? Have you seen this? Have you heard about this?
I've heard about it once in a while.
Elden Ring has dethroned The Last of Us Part 2 for the most Game of the Year wins, with, as of posting, 324 to Last of Us 223. Ooh-wee.
Over 100 more?
Oh, sorry, 224. Sorry. Not
Oh, okay.
That was a typo on my behalf. Remember, I was typing this.
No worries,
I got a
no
sexy
worries.
learning disability called sexlexia. Kyle.
Sex Panther. 69% of the time, it works every time.
Spider C11 writes, "Hello everyone, new and old. I hope we're all happy and safe bringing in the new year. Sadly, I've been struggling with COVID since Christmas."
Oh.
Hot damn, that's one Christmas present you didn't want. That's worse than cold. Hope you and the fam are doing well. Not too bad,
Same.
except for the stomach issues and nausea. Bro, been there. Let me tell you, Pedialyte, Gatorade. Okay.
Yeah. Pedialyte Ice Pops. They're a game changer.
If it's canned, like canned peaches, pickles, olives, anything fermented, that's gonna help you. That's gonna help you big time. And guess what? That tip's for free. But that's enough about me. Do you guys think Elden Ring would have dethroned Last of Us Part 2 for the most Game of the awards, with Ragnarok being released this year too? ? It's so true. Like this,
and like if Ragnarok wasn't this year, would that number be higher?
Oh, absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
And if this game wasn't out this year, would it be Ragnarok we're talking about?
Yeah. Very true.
I think it goes to show like the power of From Software, the power of Elden Ring, but like, man, just how impressive last year truly was. I don't know. I when I saw this question, I was like, yeah, like Ragnarok wasn't like an easy competitor. Like, it was stiff competition, at least for me, of like what my Game of the Year is, which you'll find out more next week. But good on you guys. This is huge. I don't know. How are you taking the news? I know you're a Last of Us Part 2 stan. I saw both fan bases going at each other, being really like,
I'm going to throw out all my copies of Last of Us right now.
Good.
I'm taking my Ellie statue from the collector's edition. I'm just tossing it in the trash. I'm going to do what that kid did when he found out Horizon was coming to PC, and I'm going to karate chop my desk in half. I want no part of this.
Remember, you heard him sob?
Yeah. No, I think this is cool. I like it's. How can you not celebrate Elden Ring?
Yeah.
I mean, how can you not? Like, it's, yeah, I love Part 2, Last of Us Part 2, but like, there's no denying Elden Ring is one of the best games ever made.
Yep. And
records are made to be broken. So like, why not?
Yeah.
If it wasn't Elden Ring, what would it have been? It's going to happen next year with Zelda. It's going to take the cape for most Game Award wins then.
No. It should be
I'm telling you right now.
I know.
I'm telling you right now.
It's Zelda and Nintendo. It gets a bump. Okay, but honestly, you're right. I think these things are made to be broken. They're also made to be made. Yeah. Like it's
they're superficial at the end of the day anyway.
It's like your Game of the Year could be Cult of the Lamb. Like Katie's Game of the Year this year or last year was Red Dead Redemption 2. Like, it doesn't even have to be this year. One of my favorite games of last year was Cyberpunk. Like, Relax. It's all superficial. And to see both fan bases be so toxic about this just goes to show that we don't deserve video games.
No, we don't.
Because
there's another, if you aren't into, if you're not, you know nothing of sports, Sunday night, a terrible tragedy happened on the field with a Bills player, Buffalo Bills player, suffering a heart attack, or what we all presume a heart attack on the field, and they had to work on him for 9 straight minutes. During the game, it was frightening to see him collapse like that. But afterwards, a lot of the athletes and a lot of people were like, we need to stop
the game,
treating them like our little action figures and like yelling about, oh, this person's, getting paid too much. Their contract is awful. Their stats aren't what they should be. They're not matching the Madden ratings in the Madden video game. It's just, we need to start treating the people that are behind the entertainment that we love as actual human beings, and not spew vitriol and negativity just because we love the thing and only see the product and not the things that got put into the product. Like, we should just be celebrating the studios, again, making magic. Video games are freaking magic. I don't understand how they work. I don't understand how I'm talking to Joe through a camera and a microphone and you can see and hear everything. Like, let's just celebrate that instead of just yelling about numbers that make no sense out of context. Like, it's just ridiculous.
No, I think you're 100% right. Like, we forget that there are devs watching this, people that worked on The Last of Us Part 2, people that worked on, on Elden Ring. Like, we forget, we just treat it as this product. And do you not think Neil Druckmann gets like 100, comments of like, this guy's up his own ass, I'm gonna hate him?
You think Gorilla doesn't
hear? Do you think Kanye's posting nice things about Neil right now?
Probably not.
He's not, because he can't. Got him. So, like,
but like, do you think Gorilla loves hearing like, oh, another year that Horizon got overshadowed by other games? Like, no, they don't want to hear that. They just want to hear people loving and enjoying their game, which is phenomenal.
And so, like, to me, it's just, we're taking the human, like, there's no human element here. So when I see like, anymore. Oh, you Last of Us fanboys, you Elden Ring fanboy, it's like, shut up, just shut. You're getting muted.
Exactly.
You're getting muted now. You're just going. You're going into the. The reason why I'm on Twitter less, it's you people. I don't have the energy of.
You're bringing nothing of value to the conversation.
It's like one person's just like, oh, but it's just fun to troll these people. I'm like, that's your entertainment, is like to get people upset. That's.
Read a book.
Go outside. Touch some grass.
Do something.
Christ Jesus, you need it. So, like, for me, that's what I can't, words cannot even compute. What you said is perfect. We're forgetting that people have worked on these things. We got to respect those folks, and you can have an honest to God conversation about it, but you don't have to just. We love to mudsling, and I'm really getting sick and tired of it. And one of my New Year's resolutions is I'm gonna call you out on it. If you feel like you could be an asshole, I'm gonna call you out on your bullshit.
Yeah,
because I'm done with it.
Absolutely,
I'm here for the developers to celebrate video games. That's what I'm here for. I'm not here to fight with you. And you're right, Elden Ring deserves it. It's literally one of the greatest games ever made. Period. So what? Ragnarok didn't win. Ragnarok's going down as one of my favorite sequels to a video game ever. It
doesn't devalue what Ragnarok is whatsoever.
It's like the best cake I've ever had with the best ice cream I've ever had. I liked both. I may prefer cake, but like, ice cream's still delicious,
Another sports analogy, Please. My New York Mets won 100 games last season. They failed in the first round of the playoffs. Was I bummed out and upset? Sure I was. But then I was like, I got to see my New York Mets I've been rooting for almost my entire life win 100 games after being a laughingstock of baseball for such a long time. I'm enjoying those moments looking back, and now I'm like, that's the energy that I'm bringing to all things now.
Love it.
Yeah.
M9 Prime writes in, Happy New Year, gentlemen. Question for the Sony Pony Express. Well, guess what? You're in Flash News, brother. Yeah! Either way.
Yeehaw! We gotta go fast.
Go fast, sorry. Elden Ring was made into a TV show like The Last of Us. Who would you like to play as in the major roles, and what do you think would be the main storyline of the Elden Ring show? What locations need to be shown? Would you like to go... Sorry, I was reading it super fast because you said gotta go fast. Now. I nailed it until then. Or would this not work for a show? Keep up the great work.
It absolutely work.
I can't wait for the Trophy Room Game Awards. Can't wait either. Next week, vote now.
Yeah. It works as a show, right?
It can work as a show. Absolutely. I actually think of Lord of the Rings when I think about this.
The more I think about it, I think it works as a show.
Yeah, you could put this on Amazon Prime. You can make it a Monster of the Week type of thing, but you could, like, each season could be you taking down a boss or two, right? You could be taking down Godric. You could be taking down, you know.
You're gonna take down Steve Buscemi as Moog. Like that's 1 week.
No, it's all gonna get real for just a sec. I love the hard drive article. Have you seen this? Have you heard about this?
I know of hard drive. Okay. I don't know what.
So like Moog is like the big evil thing, right?
Oh yes, I did see that.
Republicans have nominated Moog to be the Speaker of the House.
I did see that. Yep.
Funny, you'd get more votes than Kevin. Anyway, I think the show does well. They look. One of the main reasons why they partnered up with PlayStation, or why not partnered up, rather took in that investment from PlayStation, is PlayStation gave them a bunch of money so that they could go make shows and other IP with their IP. Yeah. So, yeah, PlayStation's investing because PlayStation Productions wants the Elden Ring IP because it could be their Lord of the Rings. So,
do you have a actor actress for a role?
No, because like to me, I always suck at those. It's like what, I don't know. Like Kate Winslet, she can act in anything, you know.
Fair.
So like Leonardo DiCaprio, you can act in anything. I don't know. So for me, I don't know. Jonathan Majors, just because I love Jonathan Majors. He's a terrific actor. He can act in anything. Yeah. Also, Idris Elba. Because funny thing about Jonathan Majors and Idris Elba, they distracted my mother today. there was a commercial. My mom was talking. There was a commercial for Creed 3. Jonathan Majors hops on screen. My mom silent and just grinning like a stupid idiot. And then a commercial for Expedia came on like shortly afterwards. And my mom's talking to my dad. I go, look at my Idris. She's like, ooh, and she's sitting smiling, stupid grin on her face.
That's great.
But yeah, like someone talented. I don't know.
I would say Anya Taylor-Joy as Millennia.
Oh, shit, yes. Blade of Nikolai.
Or Rena.
Ooh.
One of the two.
Yeah. The guy that voices Mr. Krabs as, like, Roderick or something, like,
Yeah,
Love it. All right, Kyle. Last one you put on here. It says, Jeremy Ryan won his own Platinum Trophy. What does this mean?
Yeah. So I was on Push Square to see what games were coming out this week. Spoiler, there is no drop. Sorry, I don't have to hold on to anything because there's no games coming out this week. But Push Square, this article comes from Sammy Barker. PlayStation's Jim Ryan named among 500 most influential global media business leaders. There you go. Where he was named by Variety one of the top 500 most influential business leaders shaping the global media industry. The British-born executive, who also featured in the 2020 and 2021 incarnations of the same list, is credited for completing the acquisition of Bungie, which will give Sony, quote unquote, this is from Variety, live service ammo.
Oh boy. They gotta give it. They'll be like, hey, who's a gamer in the office? Can you type this up?
Yeah. And then it goes on to say the company has continued to make strategic investments, acquiring 14% of From Software, $1 billion into Epic Games, and has also objected the Activision Blizzard deal,
All
which
right,
the
stop
FTC
there.
is now attempting to block. PS5 is outselling Xbox Series X nearly 2-1. So, like, Jim got the award for 3 years in a row now.
I mean,
hey.
give the guy credit where credit's
PlayStation
due.
had a great year.
Yeah.
Great year last year.
They've been having great years of mixed global shortage, global pandemic,
Absolutely.
and now global recession that we're starting to, everybody's telling me exists. I don't know, I'm dumb. So very much right. I don't even know what weather, like today I walked out in shorts just because I was feeling crazy. So like, I don't even know the weather.
So mad. I was so mad today.
But you know,
too hot.
He has as much crap as we give him, and rightfully so. Oh my God, I sounded like Trump there for a second. As much crap as I give him, and rightfully so. He's made mistakes. Everybody's been saying it.
He can run a business.
He can run a business and sell some cards. Here's the thing, Kyle. Get back on track here, Joseph. You had coffee. Start the show up. Boop, 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 beep. I'm in. Is that he has maneuvered this company towards a whole lot of success in the past few years. With all those things stacked against him and still stacked against him. You know, we talk about it a lot here, but like the whole, you know, ABK thing. This is a guy that's made $1 trillion company bleed. Like, we do have to give this man some type of credit, as much as I doubt he's a person with actual feelings, but is what it is. Gotta be doing something right. That said, Kyle, just for, you know, the S and G's here, are you holding on to something?
Yeah.
All right, we're doing the do. Prepare the drop. Here are the latest steals and deals coming to the PlayStation storefront. This week, absolutely jack has dropped. There's nothing on the store, no deals, nothing that we can see, nothing that we can grab. So there's a lot of deals out there.
But if you have a buck, patreon.com/PS Trophy Room.
Oh, hot damn.
Just saying. A lot of exclusive shows on there.
True. Console War Room, where Sean walks in a winner, walks out such a sore loser already. Such a sore loser. Let's talk about that for a second. That's one of my favorite Patreon shows we've done. Not just because we trolled Sean and made him second guess his friendship with Ryan, because he made some big mistakes there. Big mistakes, folks. Everybody's talking about. How can you make such big mistakes? And such small hands for that man.
You need to stop talking like Trump.
I'm digging it. I understand the appeal now.
Oh, man.
But, like, you know, I really love that episode. It's a whole lot of fun. We had a whole lot of fun. So go check that out. I think that episode's actually free for everyone. So if you like that type of content, that's what you can expect on a weekly basis here on out 2023 style. So head on over to patreon.com/PS Trophy Room.
Yeah, you'll be getting on the road to greatness.
That's right.
As well.
I got a lot of crazy things I'm going to say about Firewatch and Elden Ring. That's for sure.
Ooh.
All right, Kyle. Now it's time for our favorite segment and the last segment of the night. Time for the Sony Pony Express. Yeah. That's right, come on. Katie Stubbs writes in, "Hi, guys. Just like you can too, by the way. Over at PS Trophy Room. Over at the Discord server that you could join right now, be a part of the hundreds of people that are in there on the daily, and you get to write your questions. We answer them each every Wednesday here on the show, or actually Thursday, because that's when the show goes live. All right, coffee, remember. Hey guys, Happy New Year to both of you. Hope they were well spent and you played all the games during your week off. I played like one, but again, we'll talk about it. So most post-Christmas gift to myself. I got myself a smart TV.
Hey, nice.
Looking forward to check out all the movies I missed last year and catching up on some old shows, which leads me to my question. Imagine that you can offer any video game character the chance to invent something. This character has given the opportunity to create something that has never been seen before. Who would you pick and what would they invent? Have fun with this one. Love you guys.
Ooh. This is interesting. My mind instantly goes to Silence.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what they would invent, but it would be some sort of technology that would be way too invasive. And people would question if it's good for humanity or not.
Yeah. Clank, Ratchet and/or Clank would invent a different gun, a new gun that shot... I was going to say portals to different games. Actually, no, let's do it. A gun that shoots like into different universes that you get to explore different games. So Ratchet could be in The Last of Us. Ratchet could jump in, I don't know, a Halo match for all we care, and just really mess some stuff. And it does it like it can't obey the laws of physics or franchises or exclusivity. Like it's just doing whatever.
All right.
And you're shaking the bottle every time. There you go.
I like it. I also like the idea of the ratchet gun that did that thing in Rift Apart, but a real life counterpart where it will randomly transport one of your friends, but you don't know which one.
Oh no! How do they get back, Kyle?
I don't know.
Oh, that's frightening. Kyle, by the way, if you could add Yuna's question as well, because she posted one earlier in the day. If you could.
Sure.
Before I ask for questions, because that's how good Yuna is at this stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
Writes in. Will you be watching The Last of Us on January 15th by yourself, with friends, or with family? And how many times do you plan on rewatching the premiere until we get the next episode 7 long days later? Everybody's super hyped on The Last of Us show. I'm very optimistic, don't get me wrong. But I also, in the back of my mind, go, this is a video game adaptation. Like, I think I've seen a lot of people say, like, along the lines of, like, this is going to be Breaking Bad levels good. No, stop. I'm hoping this show is good. Nothing's going to top Breaking Bad. Nothing's going to top a Game of Thrones. Last of Us ain't, I don't think Last of Us is that. That's where my expectations are. I think it's going to be a good show. But I'm not expecting, like, it. That said, Kyle, how are you watching it, and how are we going to tell y'all what we done saw?
So I'm going to at least watch episode 1 by myself.
Sounds good.
Just because I have a feeling the first episode is the opening of the game.
Yeah. And
I want to experience that for myself because I'm going to be a mess. But my plan, actually, I would love to do a watch party in the Discord every Sunday and watch together and react to it together.
What if we do like a rewatch?
We could do a rewatch maybe one night during the week or something like that. Yeah, I'm down with that. But what Joe was alluding to, we're going to be doing a Last of Us in review, quote unquote, where we're going to talk about each episode and put it up there on the good old Patreon.
That's right. I think.
Did you know for what level? Did we decide that?
Not yet. I think we'll decide.
Okay, it'll be up there at some point. Yeah, we'll do bronze tier.
$3 in, you get The Last of Us show,
and that will start. Since PlayStation's doing more things in movies and TV, that will start a new show where we watch the PlayStation stuff and then talk about it for Patreon.
And I think for us, we'll watch the first episode. We'll give a public thoughts, like a deep dive Patreon show, but like a surface level talk the week of like how do we like the show, and then the final episode we kind of queue up the whole season and talk about it that way of like, okay, so season's done, how was it, type of deal.
Yeah, and to answer your question, Nagachaka, I'm gonna be watching it so many times. I, unlike Joe, don't know how to keep my expectations in check, and I do think this is going to be really, really good for the fact of they once again said something that I thought was newsworthy, but they already talked about it last year. They gave the showrunners $100 million budget for the season.
Yeah,
that's pretty unheard of. That's Game of Thrones level of money behind it. And so, like,
you don't throw it at something that you don't think's gonna hit.
Exactly, and the fact that episode 1 is an hour 20, and 9 episodes, they're going to be roughly a little bit over an hour each. Like, I'm so excited to get a Last of Us movie every single week.
I mean, that's a good point to raise. They know what they have. They know they have some of the best screenwriters out there making this. Yeah. Right. Like it's like a broken record. Chernobyl, you know it.
Exactly. And the actors involved. Are you kidding me?
So I know it's going to be good. I'm just trying to get it in check because the Halo show exists.
We've been burned before.
Exactly.
We've been burned before. So,
absolutely. We got 2 Sonic movies. God's abandoned us long ago. And they're the best thing we have. Sonic is the best thing to have.
People also like to downplay how good Detective Pikachu is.
It was good.
And that's a pretty good.
It's pretty good, but like,
yeah,
Sonic is the one that was our go-to.
I know.
So,
and Uncharted, pretty good.
Pretty good. All right. But like, this is, I think, their first big showing. This means I think a lot.
Yeah.
But I gotta keep it checked. I think it's gonna be good, not the best thing ever. And of course, people are gonna be angry about it, so I'm gonna already have it muted.
Oh yeah, no.
You know what, Kyle? You want to go back and forth on the questions?
Sure, I can do that. Dreek G. I'm sorry, Dreek, if I say that your name incorrectly. Hey guys, happy New Year to you both. Hope you enjoyed your holiday. Mine was excellent. Good times with friends and family, and I won the traditional family quiz once again. Ooh. Hey, congratulations. That brings me to my question of this week. If you guys participated in a gaming and PlayStation pub quiz, who would win? Who of you two would impress everyone with their knowledge about games, gadgets, and PlayStation? Best wishes for you both. Take care and have a phenomenal day.
I'm impressing
you, Drake.
No one. I know a lot about video games. Hold up one second.
I would destroy you.
I suck at quizzes.
And the fact that we did one for video game trivia with our friend Jacob McCourt,
which was a fun time.
And the only reason, it was so good. I can't wait to do it again. The only reason it was close is because we did guess the price of these games. And I don't do well with that at all.
Right.
Like how much they are on price charting. And they were like obscure games and they were outrageous. Yep. And that's the only way it was close.
Yeah, I suck at trivia. I don't like on the spot things. I really hate it. That's my big pet peeve.
Now, if Joe and I were a team, get out of here. No one touches
Come
us.
on. Yeah. Cowboy Danger D writes in.
Yeehaw!
Question for the Sony Pony Express. I understand that most folks are switching over to digital. But, yay. Well, but what are some of your favorite video game cover box art? What got me thinking about this was when I picked up Marvel Midnight Suns. I loved the cover so much that I bought the poster of it. Another favorite from the past is simply the Heavy Rain cover. So, what are some of your favorites? And has there ever been a game you know absolutely nothing about at all? Yes, but the cool cover convinced you to give it a chance. As always, love y'all. Shiny side up and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Shiny side up.
I have one.
Go for it.
Dead Space's cover of just like the hand floating in space. It's just like
the hand. Yeah.
This is weird, and I'm in. This is weird, and I'm so in. Also, Dead Space 2's cover where he's shooting. I think off the collectors. There's like a sleeve. First off, bring back the sleeves, guys.
Oh, yes.
Bring those back, please.
Yeah.
But yeah, that one 110% cool as hell. What about you?
I can't think of honestly, probably FF7.
Oh yeah, iconic.
Like looking up at the big like Shinra headquarters. That's again iconic. I am a sucker for just like the silhouette or like the single figure on a cover. I know that's kind of basic, but like I love the Joel and Ellie looking back on Last of Us.
Yep, that's one of my favorites.
That's like so good. Yeah.
Super Mario World had a dope one.
Yeah.
Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild actually went hard.
The Tears of the Kingdom box art looks really cool.
Does it? I haven't seen that one much.
It looks really cool.
Because then everybody just started doing it. It's like, here's a guy on a mountaintop looking down.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
What else?
And like, shout out to Bioshock's a good one. Yeah. Shout out to Forbidden West too. That one's very colorful and popping. Eye-popping.
But you know what? There is something like I am starting to like the square images more. I feel like it's a tighter shot on the thing that matters the most. And I feel like when you have a bad emblem, like the Dragon Age Inquisition emblem is horrific. Get that out of here. People complain, and then the devs are like, okay, we get it. You didn't like it's ugly. Go different on it. So like, for example, like the Elden Ring square.
Ooh.
Like it. It's a tight shot. Splatoon as well. Great. Colorful. It's fun. It tells you everything you need to know about that game just strictly on its cover.
And like another one, shout out to Bloodborne. Have the saw cleaver out, just like, and the firearm at the side. Ooh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Nathan Drake, Uncharted 2. Yeah, there's a lot of good. We could make just an episode of like what makes a good video game cover. Yeah, write that down. That's a Patreon show if I've ever heard one.
And I can't think of one where I didn't know nothing about the game and I saw the cover. It's like, oh, that looks cool. I'm gonna buy it. Nothing is coming out to me for that one.
Again, I do have a bone to pick. If you have a lazy steelbook, ooh, I'm gonna have words.
Oh, yes. Oh, absolutely.
All right, Dreaded Diablo writes in. Oh, sorry, you go. We're taking turns.
Oh, that's right. This is a video by the Act Man, and it shows hot takes on video games. Yeah, I don't know what that is, Dreaded. That shows hot takes on video games, and I'm wondering, what are your hot takes in gaming, be either Nintendo, Xbox, and PlayStation? I have a hot take. Are you ready? I'm ready.
Yeah, let's go. You go first.
Okay. Again, no offense should be taken.
Sure.
This is just how I feel. Nintendo is only for kids at this point.
Oh!
I am not pulled at all to play my Nintendo. I feel it is more toy than video games. And that will only change once the hardware catches up to what Xbox and Sony's doing.
Metroid Dread exists. Do you not know that?
It does, but it would be better if it was on PlayStation.
It would be, man. Oh my god! Like, here's the thing. Here's.
I'm just saying.
Here's the thing here's my hot take about Nintendo. Nintendo fans, y'all don't know what you got. Y'all don't know what you got sometimes. Metroid's right there. It's so like Samus is so cool. She is dope as hell. And you're not buying those games. What's wrong? And you're gonna go buy, Animal Crossing. There's a squirrel. He's my neighbor / best friend. Oh, I don't like this armadillo. I'm gonna quarantine him on one part of the island so that he moves. It's like, wow, that's strange. Wonder what your grandparents were thinking. You know, that's some weird logic. Oh, I'm gonna threaten my neighbor till he moves. Okay, just because he's an armadillo, all right, makes you think. And then like. Yeah, like for me, Nintendo, I do think of it more now like childish, but I feel like we revere Nintendo a lot, but I think to an extent of like a little bit overzealous on how we view Nintendo, or maybe that's the wrong word of like, they make some stinkers as well. Like, there's a lot of games that Sean Capri picked on, and I'm not just singling him out because he's bad at picking things. Top Gun Maverick. DLC. Anyway, but there's a lot of those games like Strikers and Switch Sports that like didn't move the needle. We'll forget about Labo, but you'll threaten my life if I criticize it. That type of energy that Nintendo fans have is different, and it's weird, and I don't like it. So to me, I'm kind of with you there. Hot take for Xbox. All right, fanboys, you want to go at it? You want to go? You want to go? They got to prove to me that they can deliver this year. That's it. I think one of my biggest critiques from Xbox, and I think it's one major critique, even Xbox folks, is like, I'm tired of saying next year's the year. Yeah, I'm tired of the Xbox excuses of like next year. I'm sorry we didn't deliver this year. No. This is the year. You got Starfield, you got Redfall, you got, gosh dang it. You got Hellblade. Like, you got all these games lined up. Now let's start delivering on it. Let's start delivering on this message. Because my thing with Xbox is like, their pipeline seems like it's still under some type of duress. Like, we're hearing rumors of like, and I don't know if they're true or accurate. It's rumors and speculations after all. But like, games like Fable being reworked from the ground up. Right, like Halo switching engines or whatever for their their battle royale, like that type of stuff, that type of chaos that's in Microsoft. that needs to start getting expelled, or else I don't have much faith in them as a publisher, because I'm tired of hearing wait till next year.
Yep.
Sam?
Yeah.
All right. Can't wait.
Same.
Can't wait till I get yelled at in the comments.
I'm on, and I'm actually trying to think of a PlayStation one.
Oh, I got one.
Yeah, go for it.
PlayStation, I love you. Here's 2 critiques. Take them if you like them. If you don't, toss them right on back. Only kidding. They're mine alone. Start talking to us like we're people. As much as I say,
but again, that's not really a hot take. I think everyone agrees that way.
Here's the thing: PlayStation 4 era, even PS3 era was having fun. You had a Kevin Butler, right?
Fair.
You had a Shuhei of like, this is how you trade your games.
Who was it? Was it Marcus on PSP? Mm-hmm. Was that the PSP campaign with Marcus?
Yes.
Yeah.
And like this one feels like, so you're gonna like this one, like corporate Kane. Like, this is just,
my God.
I know.
Nothing is worse than Kane in a suit.
Exactly.
Oh.
Which is like, you got great games, but like, I'm not feeling the excitement and celebration of these games. So I'd like that to change. And what's my next hot take? That's really it. That's my big one. There you go.
I think another small scale one, which I only maybe half believe. Sure. PlayStation doesn't really need a first person shooter at all.
Okay, that's
in their repertoire.
Mine's is like, so yeah. You don't think it needs a first person shooter?
Like I would love one, but I don't think they need one. I think they can rely on everything else.
Yeah, I think like the games of service. Oh, here's a hot take. Games of service makes me very nervous.
Oh, 1,000. Live service games? Yeah.
It's like what I've been saying from the get. It's like, how many of these are actually going to succeed? It can't be every single one of them. And how does that hurt? Does that hurt PlayStation's image of how we often say, like, Nintendo games, they're for kids? It's like, well, could that be the same for PlayStation? Like, I love what they're doing on the single player game front. Though, here's a hot take. Ready for this, Kyle?
I'm ready.
Some of your games need an editor. There are points in certain games that they get a little bit high on their own supply, Neil. And
all right. See, I'll disagree, but it's fine.
Hot take.
Fine.
I
know it's a hot take. I know.
I gave a lot of heat to Nintendo. I gave a lot of heat to Xbox. I gotta give a little pepper to PlayStation.
You're allowed. Absolutely.
Still the best games.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Who knows about next week, though? All right, last question, Kyle. Take it away. And I already know Yuna, if her favorite's on the, like, who's her favorite on the trophy room? It's Kyle.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure.
I don't think so.
No. I think so. I'm not jealous.
It's one day, Joe. One day.
One day I'll get a fan.
Una writes in, hey there guys, hope you both are doing well. Welcome to January, where we make resolutions that will be broken by the end of the year. We get a thrill of excitement for fakes coming out, and a bunch of the community are going backlog golfing. My question this week is for villain. Would you want them to be sympathetic or just outright evil that you want to thrust your sword into? I've been playing Kuro, and the villains are some of who are not worth feeling sympathy for. These guys, and it has me thinking how I like villains done in games, with them either being some sympathy or no sympathy. There you go, Kyle. So I throw the ball over to you guys. Do you think villains should have some sort of sympathy in them, or just be pure evil?
All right, Kyle. You ready for another hot take?
Oh no.
First off, there's a beauty to both, and I think like the best villain of like, I just want to see the city burn is like the Joker, and that's the king status.
Oh yeah. And
I feel like a lot of villains try, or a lot of people try to go, I'm gonna make this someone you're threatened by, but you're not No Country for Old Men. Most of the time, that threatening personality, there's something to it. Right? Like there's something to Javier Bardem's character there where it's just like he's talking about, he's just talking to a cashier about his life passing him by. And the cashier not knowing that like that flip of the coin is literally what is dictating life or death. And there is that tension in the scene of the cashier knows something's up, this guy's weird, but doesn't know what, but you know everything. That's haunting and terrifying.
Yeah, what a good movie.
Amazing.
Oh,
and then
so good.
There's the sympathetic villain, which you could feel that for, but you know that what they're going about is wrong. Villains that do an excellent job of doing that is Magneto. This is a Holocaust survivor turned into the thing that he hates, right?
Mm-hmm.
But fighting for a cause that is underlined good. But again, it's like he's going about it the total wrong way. And then going even the 8 echelons higher, going pure evil. Another great example, Killmonger. Like the reason why I love Black Panther so much is he is such a great sympathetic villain because everything that he is saying is right, but what he is doing is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Yeah, a good villain. There are some villains that are just so good because they are nothing but evil. Mm-hmm. Like Freddy Krueger, great villain. He's nothing but evil. I think. You have a thought? Go
Darth
for it.
Vader, and I'll talk about it.
Sorry. Oh yeah, for sure. But when as you were talking, I was thinking about one of my favorite gamers of all time, who I think does a great way in a little bit of both here. Is Last of Us Part 2.
Oh.
I think to Ellie, Abby is nothing but pure evil.
Right.
To Abby, Ellie is nothing but pure evil. But are you not feeling sympathetic for both of them in that game? I think that does a great job in playing that card both. Yep. And just another reason why I love that game. But I love a good villain where I can see where they're coming from.
Yeah.
And that makes the pain of what they're doing hit so much harder.
Yeah. Like all right, Kyle, here's where the hot take comes in. There are villains that you cheer for because you know when they're on screen, they're going to tear it up. Like Darth Vader is terrifying. His look is iconic. That hallway scene in Rogue One is like the epitome of like Disney bringing back how terrifying this character is, but you're rooting for him to be awful.
He's the bad guy Rock in old school WWE.
Exactly.
He's a bad guy, but I'm going to root for him every single time he's out there.
And there's a beauty for it. And then there's the villains that I think suck. And that's everything everywhere all at once. Where it's like, I'm a nihilist just to be a nihilist because I'm lazy and this is a bad, Rick and Morty skit.
It hurts a little bit. It's fine.
And then you have a good antagonist, which is in Nope. And you're like, I need to see this thing. I don't know what it's doing, but it's scaring the crap out of me. So those are two movies I watched during the break.
No kidding.
I'm not. And can I get real with you? Can I get Ben Franklin with you? I actually thought Nope was incredible.
Oh, I do too. Absolutely.
And Jordan Peele absolutely was just like,
does not miss in my opinion.
Hey, never missing a day in his life. Though
I love Us. Come at me. I think Us is great.
Us, actually, I think. Like, I don't think Nope is his best work, but it's like still great.
Oh no.
And you could tell like the love of anime and the love of Kojima this guy has, because the entrances of these characters is straight up, dude, the guy with the helmet, that's Kojima, dude. You can't argue with. So I'm like, I'm just eating during this film, and Kiki Palmer is gorgeous, and I'm in love with her, and you punch you square in the face. But yeah, so a good villain could come from many angles, but the sympathetic villain is it makes you think, because being evil for evil's sake is easy, but having the audience relate to the villain and maybe even sympathize with them for a second, that's a lot. All right, Kyle, that's been the trophy room this week. First episode back. Hey. Real talk. How do you feel about this episode?
Good. Oh, I think this is a great way to start 2023.
I thought it was fantastic.
I feel real good about it.
Yeah, I feel fantastic. That's it, Kyle. Is there anything you want to spotlight before we get on out of here?
Myself, Mr. K-Step, PSN, Twitter, Hive if that ends up working.
Nah, probably not.
That's been working for me lately. It's bumming me out. Yeah, Mr. K-Sub everywhere. You can follow all the indie game coverage that I do over at 61 Indie. That's SIXONEINDIE.com on Twitter and on YouTube. Our big Game of the Year show will be coming out next week. So go check it out. We recorded almost 2 hours yesterday, part 1.
Yeah.
And then we're finishing part 2 tomorrow night. So it's going to be a big, probably 4-hour episode.
Oh,
so
hot damn.
Strap in. Lots of indies to talk about.
Hey, can I get one more pet peeve before we get on out of here?
Yeah, you can have one more banger pet peeve. Go for it.
More and more people are saying that word and don't like how we are appropriating it to our culture, man. Everybody's saying it. Please stop. I can't escape it. I was listening to a comic podcast. They're saying it. Listening to a sports commentator. They're saying it. I heard a news anchor the other day say it. Like, you're a news anchor. Have some goddamn decorum. What is this?
Only Joe in the year 2023 is going to use decorum.
You can't be like, oh, Hakeem Jeffries had a banger of a day. Like, you can't say that.
Why can't you?
You know, you're Wolf Blitzer. God damn it. Have some respect and grow that beard like a man, or don't, Wolf.
Today at the polls, we had a banger turnout. A record number of people came out to vote.
Exactly. I'm like, what? Mitch McConnell, what are you doing? Just trying to relate. What? No, stop. All right. Real pet peeve is when people, I've heard this on too many podcasts, go, yeah, and I'm not on Hive and I'm not on Mastodon. It's like, okay, congratulations. Congratulations
okay, cool.
on not overreacting like the rest of us.
Breaking the norm. It's fine. Whatever.
I know. I'm not doing anything. It's like,
your ribbon is in the mail. Congratulations.
Oh, you're so smart. You're so smart not trying to expand your fucking social image.
Guess what? That is still the same kind of clout you're mad at everyone else trying to get.
It's like you're doing...
Oh, look how different I am.
Oh, look at me. It's like, relax.
Be like me, everybody. Y'all are sheep.
Exactly.
Come over and be like, shut up.
Oh, my God. Thank you. Thank you for saying the words that I want.
I hate that too, Joe. I hate that.
It's like you're just doing the same exact thing that you complain everybody else is doing. Relax. All right, you can find me on not Hive, not on, but you can find me on Post if that ever gets an actual app. You can follow me on Twitter over at Mr. Badbit, and you can find the show over at PS Trophy Room. Please make sure you vote in the Trophy Room Awards. Last chance. We're days away from we record the episode. What on the 7th, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Well, no. We're doing Monday night is when we record.
Monday night. So we have how many days?
The 9th. You have 3 days to get votes in.
A night and a day and a night and a day to procure me these votes post haste. That's Lincoln. That's a great movie. You know what Lincoln didn't say? When he writing the Emancipation Proclamation, he didn't go, "Wow, this is a banger of a document I just made."
4
and banger years
and 7
ago.
banger years ago.
I made one banger of a cabin or something.
Hey Barry, let's go see that banger of a show tonight.
Oh, God damn it. Sea Serpent Time banger. Like, come on. We have nothing to fear but fear.
But banger itself.
Oh, gosh. All right. There you go. We have fun here. So with that said, if you like this chaos, please rate us 5 stars over on Apple Podcasts, over on Spotify, wherever you get your podcast service of choice. You can find the show there. And if we're not, make sure you at us and you tell us so we can be there. And with all that said, with all that out of the way, everybody, keep what's about you. Keep hunting and keep playing PlayStation. See you guys.
Bye. Love you very much.